Do you know how long the IRS has to audit your tax return? I'm Andrew Bosserman, tax attorney and founder of Boss Tax Law, and in this video, I'm going to tell you the statute of limitations for a tax return, which is how long the IRS has to audit your tax return and assess any additional tax. So the standard statute of limitations that applies in almost all cases is 3 years from the later of the date your return was due or the date it was filed. So for example, your 2023 tax return, individual income tax return, is due April 15th, 2024. So say you filed that on time, either on or before April 15th, 2024, the IRS would have until April 15th, 2027 to audit your return and assess any additional tax. But say, for example, you didn't file an extension and you filed late on, say, June 1st, 2024, then the IRS would go from the actual filing date of June 1st, 2024 for that 3-year period. So they'd have until June 1st, 2027. So in most cases, the 3-year statute will apply and it's 3 years from the later of the date the return was due or filed. But there are a few exceptions in certain instances. These are fairly rare, but they can apply. So there's a 6-year statute of limitations if you underreported your gross income by more than 25%. So this means, you reported less gross income than you actually had, and that was added up to be more than a 25% understatement of the gross income shown on the return. In that instance, the IRS can audit for up to 6 years and assess any additional tax. So for example, say you filed your return timely but underreported your gross income by more than 25%. You filed your return timely on April 15th, 2024. The IRS would have until April 15th, 2030 to assess any additional tax on that 2023 tax return. And the IRS actually has unlimited time to assess additional tax on a fraudulent tax return. And fraudulently filed tax return means that you willfully, filed a tax return that is incorrect and you knew it and you were trying to deceive the IRS. The other important thing to note is that if you never file a tax return, then the statute of limitations doesn't start running. So if you haven't filed, say, your 2022 tax return, then that 3-year statute of limitations, or if a longer one applies, doesn't actually start running until you file your tax return. So this is important to know because if you have returns you haven't filed in past years, it generally is best practice to file them as soon as possible to get that 3-year period running, so that the IRS only has limited time to look at your return and assess any additional tax. So this was just a quick overview of statutes of limitations and how long the IRS has to audit and assess any additional tax on your tax return. If you have any questions about statute of limitations or anything else, please reach out to me. Thanks.